Hello, folks. This is Ron Cross. I'd like to introduce myself and tell you exactly who I am. First of all, I served a short time in the Army back in the 80s. I was a legal researcher for the Oklahoma Bombing Investigation Committee, as you can see there. I also worked on their film crew. I was the assistant director while some of the filming was going on for the film that's recently been released, The Noble Live, after the Oklahoma City bombing. Along with being a legal researcher, I did do some investigation onto the Oklahoma City bombing. I'm also a graphologist, a parapsychologist. I sometimes consult for media and producers and casting directors for shows. I also run 3 paranormal investigation groups, one here in Oklahoma, one in California, one in the UK. You can look them up on the website under prosinvestigations.com. Again, that's prosinvestigations.com. What I want to try to do is introduce myself to you, let you know who I am and exactly what I've done in the past. My goal here is to establish who I am and tell you a little bit about fact versus truth. Now, there is a difference between truth and fact. Truth is a matter of perception, and a good way to put it as an example is look at religion. You can ask any Jew, Christian, or Muslim which religion is right, and we're going to get 3 different answers, and each of them are just as adamant about them being right and the others being wrong. Fact is unchanging, and that's what we want to deal with. Over a number of years, I have researched and documented and copied a number of facts concerning exactly what our government is doing. And today I want to share some of those with you. Now, I've been doing this research for well over 20 years. So it isn't hearsay. It is something I want to present to you folks. I want you to see it with your own eyes. These are things that I have copied out of the legal law library or off of the UN's website or some other location. This is something that any of you can do. You can go to your law library, possibly copy some of the documents, look some of them up online. Back in the day when I first began, I spent many, many hours in the law library digging documents up. What used to take me hours to do now only takes a matter of minutes. So lucky you. I've been asked by a number of people to share the documents that I have, and I figured this is the best way to do it until I make some sort of book or written form of the copies that I have and maybe explain a little bit on. But some of the topics that I'm going to cover in a series of videos for you folks is I'm going to cover the UN in itself. We'll talk about some of the history, some of the documentation, some of the things that they are trying to basically, shall we say, control and eliminate. We'll talk about gun control, which fits in with the UN. We'll talk about the militia, and we'll talk about other laws and things that govern you and your life as an American, or in some cases maybe a world subject. What I want to start with is that there are a number of people out there who claim that belonging to the United Nations is no big deal. They're a bunch of people that are out for the betterment of all of us. And I wish I could say that that was absolutely the truth, but there are some definite concerns with the UN. I want to point out that not everybody that's in the UN is a bad person or a good person. What we have to look at is the final objectives that they're out to accomplish and how they're going to do it. So we have to judge them by their own merits. There's a lot of people out there with a lot of distrust in anything from the federal government to their local government. And in some cases, there's very valid reasons for it. We know in the past that both the federal government, local governments, and other branches of governments have abused their authority and abused people's rights. So there's no doubt that it happened. So we don't want to get into that right now. We can talk about Title 18 and Title 42 issues at some point in time. But what I want to share with you is some information today on the United Nations. This is basically an idea of some of the research that I want to cover and in depth how we're going to do it. So the first thing I want to start with is the United Nations Charter. As you can see, it has the date there, Friday, February the 14th. Or not February 14th, 17th, I'm sorry, of 1950. And as we move up, I want you to see right here that one of the concerns with the United Nations is the fact that it does involve a surrender of our sovereignty to world government. So there it is in black and white. Okay? Another document I want to share with you, and it actually has a words, the surrender of our sovereignty in black and white, is page 441 from the same document. And I will move that over so that you can see it. Let me refocus that for you. Again, that's page 441 from the revision of the United Nations Charter. A surrender of our sovereignty. So there is no doubt about some of what they're doing. Some of the other things that we should be concerned with the United Nations, a lot of people think that a lot of militia type people are a bunch of wackos that don't know what they're talking about. But there are a lot of things that the UN has tried to regulate and control, up into to include weather control and other devices. Now, I'm going to show this to you. Again, this is another UN document. You can see it right there, United Nations document. And there it is, Convention on the Prohibition of Military or any other hostile use of environmental modification techniques. And we're going to look down, we're going to flip over. This is the second page, I believe, of it. And we're going to look right there, and you can even see, if you look in the highlighted paragraph, you're going to see earthquakes, tsunamis, and other things that are listed there. Cyclones. So, there are some definite things to be concerned with. This stuff is actually real. These documents were copied off of the UN's website. Again, this is just a taste of some of the things that I'm going to share with you through my research. And when I just educate people, I think everybody who's in public service, our police, our fire, and others, and especially our military, I honor and respect each and every one of you. Thank you for serving our country, and I thank you for watching this video. Continue to watch what I do. I want to help educate the public as to what is really going on with not the truth, but the facts. Thank you again. This is Ron Cross.